So, Grape's tank leaked. That's just great, isn't it? Before we start, please consider subscribing to the channel as it helps a lot. So, how did Grape's tank start leaking? I hate to admit it, but it was my fault. You see, I was doing the water change, and then I feel like I might have been a bit too aggressive during it, because the tank's quite small and having to get the pump started in such like a small volume of water is really hard. And I guess my pressurizing on the tank might have caused a crack in the middle. And I noticed it when I filled up all the water, like after I'd done the water change. And then water kept pouring out from the bottom of the tank, and I thought, oh, maybe I dropped water, so it must be fine. And then it carried on coming again and again. Every time I wiped with the towel, and then I realized, great, it's a leak. So the best thing I thought was to do in this sort of situation was to remove Grape ASAP. I had no other option but to put him in my main aquarium in an isolator box, which wasn't that small. I guess it was a good size, so he was fine. He didn't like seeing the other fish. He was really mad. He was flaring at them, raising with his fins, and I had never seen him flare like that before, because I've never tried to keep him with other fish. But I guess now I know he's not the type to be kept with fish. But it was only for a day, because the next day I went to get him a tank, and I was looking for about the same size, because I was like, okay, I have to fit it on my desk. But I found one way bigger, probably nearly triple the size of what his aquarium was. I guess it turned out to be good, because it fit on the desk just perfect, literally just perfect. And it was a nice size as well. I liked it. So yeah, I had removed all the plants from my old tank, and I also put in the main aquarium, just floating, because I was going to move them into the new aquarium the next day. Even the duckweed, all the Vallisneria, and the Anubis bonsai. They were the only plants in the tank. And I can tell you that it hurt so much having to remove them. Ugh. So after setting the tank, I got to work to adding the sand which was in his previous tank, and this took a really long time, mainly because I had it in a bucket with a bunch of his old water. The problem was there wasn't enough sand for the aquarium in a way. If I wanted it all a really high layer, 2 inches layer, I couldn't do that because this tank was bigger than the old tank, and I could have in the old tank because it was smaller, but this one was longer. So I decided to make the back a really high, a slope kind of, focus the 2 inches at the back so the Vallisneria could grow their long roots, and the front to be just really thin because obviously there wasn't going to be any foreground plants I was going to add just yet. So I got to adding the water now, but this water was absolutely revolting. It was so dirty because I had put the sand along with it, and the sand must have had so much dirt and bacteria in there, kind of spread around in the bucket, so it was full of this water. So I ended up adding more new water and some from the main tank, just so that there's some bacteria in it and I wasn't basically cycling the tank. So once the water had been added, all that was left was to add the Vallisneria, and it actually looked easier than it was because they kept floating back up, because I had to cut the roots because they'd have to develop new roots in the soil again. And it was so hard because every time I put one in, another one would just fly back up, and it was so annoying. I think I spent half an hour on it, and I was just really irritated the whole time, but I managed to do it in the end. Duckweed obviously wasn't hard, it had come along with the water, that wasn't a problem, and the bonsai was easy. And the outcome of the tank was amazing. I actually really loved it. Now I had to add Grape. So I got Grape out of his temporary home and showed him the tank, and I could tell he was excited. And when I added him, obviously he was a bit stressed because it was his first time being in a tank and all, But he adjusted well. The next day he made a huge bubble nest. I'm not even kidding. Like, he made 2 or 3 bubble nests. He really liked the home, I guess. And now I realize he's so much more active to what he used to be. He's not as lazy. Okay, I get he is a bit lazy at times. Obviously, all betters like to rest. But yeah, he was really happy. He was moving around, exploring his home, going through the Valliston area, and I think he likes the new home. Obviously, it's longer, so he gets more swimming room. And I think it's good that the other tank leaked. It's kind of weird saying that, but like, seeing how happy he is makes me really happy. And now I can't imagine putting Grape back into that cube tank. I think it's true that the bigger tank you put your better fish in, the happier they'll be. So yeah, I also added almond leaves because almond leaves are really good for betters. They give water tannings and they kind of like have lots of health benefits. Definitely should try. And now he's just a happy little better. Spoiled one, but happy. He loves the Anubis bonsai, obviously. He always loved resting near it. But he's always on it and near it. Like, resting there, waiting for me to feed him. So, that was Grape's really happy ending, I guess. Him going from a cube tank to get an upgrade because of his owner making a silly mistake. Yeah, you're right, Grape. I'm stupid, I know. And I had to spend my money on it as well. So yeah, oh well, ended up being good. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. You want to see more Grape the better, then please subscribe, like the video, and thanks for watching again. Bye.